Hello everybody, I want to do a quick product review of some in-ear monitors that I have used in the past. I want to go over the Shure 215s as well as the Audio 64 A3s. I want to just share the pros and cons for each one, and depending on your experience with in-ear monitors, what would be better for you to purchase. Okay, so the first thing I want to go through is the Shure 215S's. These, the first thing I like about this is the case that it's in. It's kind of like a leather, not really leather, but like a zipper. You kind of can open it, zipper case. You can open it up, and your in-ears are right here. You can kind of roll them up, put them in there. I also like this little bag you can put in here. This bag has all your like a ear cleaner. It has different types of foam tips. If you see here, there's different types of foam tips that you could use. So say your ears are bigger or smaller, they have different sizes for you to work out that. But one thing I really liked about this was the case is really easy. If you just want to get in and out, you just pop it in and out, which is awesome. The Shure 215s, they have I have universal tips, which means that you can just pull these out, put them in, and they're used for anybody. Anybody can use them, which is helpful. If you wanted to say like buy it for a church and use it, you can have multiple people use these in-ear monitors. You just kind of pull out these tips and just put new ones in. That way, they can be usable for multiple people. One thing about the Shures is that they are single driver, which means that all the sound and all the qualities of the sound is being driven through like one kind of, it's not separated at all into different drivers. So you're kind of getting lows, mids, and highs from one section. So it sounds good because it's the in-ears kind of isolate the sound, but the negative thing is that you're kind of getting it's crisp of a sound that you would get more of a crisp sound with the Audio 64 A3s. So with these, you're only getting one kind of general sound. So what you're going to be hearing is you're going to be hearing more the bass ends. It's going to be sounding more bassy. There's not really going to be a clear cut sound for some of the bass qualities. Same thing for the mids and highs. You're kind of just going to hear the general sound of it, but you're not going to hear the crispness of it. Another thing I like about the Shures is that they are flat, which means that they don't boost the bass end at all. So what you hear in these monitors, you're kind of hearing in the room. They don't add anything, which is good for musicians who want to get a clear sound, because if you're trying to maybe if you want to walk around, you're trying to listen to some music, if you want to boost the bass, you can, but this naturally don't do that for you. So this is good for like stage performance. So these are great. I actually bought these in Hong Kong around a year ago, and one thing I did not like about them is that after using single drivers for several months, you can tell that the driver is starting to wear off. Meaning it's you don't hear the crispness of the crispness of the highs, lows, and mids. You can kind of tell that the drivers are starting to go on them because of the demand that's put on it. And so that's one thing. You probably have to buy a couple of these over the extent of your life, because they don't last extremely long, but they're helpful. And so I'd recommend these in-ears if you just started on a worship team and you need in-ear monitors. This is probably the best thing you can do to start. They're approximately $100. So this is something highly recommended, and I've used it. And if you just started learning or wanting to use in-ear monitors, this is the best place to start. Okay, the next in-ear monitors that I want to review today is the Audio 64 A3s. This is the new ones that I have been using. First thing I like about this is actually the hard case. I actually like how they actually take care of the in-ear monitors a little bit more with the hard case. I love that my name is on it. They said they were able to do that for me. But one of the negative things I don't like about this is how they're organized in the case itself once you open it. And so to actually begin to use this, you have to pull this out of here, and you kind of have to unravel it. the cord, which takes some time. As you see, I keep my adapter for my phone in here as well, because I need it sometimes if I'm listening to music. And you gotta kind of pull it out like this. So it's not easy to use quickly. This takes a lot of time to kind of take out, put in your ear and stuff like that. So that's one thing I don't really like about the case itself. However, you can get a zipper case on Audio 64's website for like $5. So they noticed that and they said we can help you with that in the future. So I decided to go with the opposite kind of design than I did with the Shure 215. So I just got everything clear. So you kind of can see these are A3s, which means that there are 3 drivers in there. So if you look at this, 1, 2, and I think there's a third one as well. 3 drivers. So what you're doing is, instead of all the sound quality going through all driven through one driver, it's going through 3 different. One's for highs, one's for lows, and one's for mids. And so when you put these in, the quality of sound is going to be a lot better because one driver's generating the sound just for the lows, one's doing it for the mids, and one's doing it for the highs. So as a result, what you're going to experience is that when you're hearing like a bass player, you're going to kind of feel the crispness of not just the lowness of the bass. You're going to feel more of the roundedness of the bass when you're playing it. Basically, like when you're playing a note, you're not just going to hear the low end, you're going to hear all the qualities of that bass, like the frets and stuff like that. So that's really nice about these. You kind of pick that up more. You can pick up like different kinds of panning more and stuff like that. I like the way the cord is kind of like threaded, which is really nice as well. And then these are custom molds. So I had these. I went to an audiologist and had my impressions taken. I had them taken twice because of the company said that they needed a better sample. And I put them in, and they feel, it takes a while to get used to them because these are acrylic. So they kind of they're really snug, and if they're not put in properly, they will be painful to your ears. So once for left, once for right, obviously you put them in, and it takes a little bit of getting used to that, and you have to kind of have a method of how you kind of put it in your ear and keep it snug. It is really good with isolation of noise, and I think the quality is really nice as well. It can, for me, I've recently, it's felt kind of irritating in my ears, kind of hearing because of just getting used to putting them in my ears. I'm not sure if it's the shape of the actual impressions itself is a little different, or it is not exactly the best for my ears. I'm not sure, still developing that as I'm playing with them. I've only had them for around a week. So I would say for a more developed person who has used in-ears, I think this would be the best thing to go. I would not recommend doing A2Es or the A2s. I think going to A3 would be the best option. I don't think the price is worth it unless you jump up to A3s, because you're doing the Shure 215s are single driver, and the other two A2Es and A2s are 2 drivers. So going to the 3 drivers is great because you kind of have one for mid, one for low, and one for high. And so I think that's a great place to start. And so if you're more of an experienced person using in-ears and you kind of want something to kind of give you a more in-depth, well-rounded, crisp, clear kind of sound, if you're playing keys or if you're hearing like singers, I think this is the best route to go.